Amid the thick jungle soaked by monsoon rains and the blood of war, Lieutenant Nguyen Van Khai, a young North Vietnamese soldier, sat leaning against the trunk of a rotting old tree. His breathing was heavy. His uniform was soaked in mud and blood, not just the blood of enemies, but his own. A bullet had pierced his stomach. Rain poured down, washing over his wounds, but the pain remained. Around him, the battle had quieted. His comrades had moved on, leaving him behind, assuming he could no longer be saved. Gunfire still echoed in the distance, but here, only silence, the whispering wind, and the slowing beat of a dying heart. In those final moments, his mind drifted to the past. He remembered Hamza, a Muslim prisoner from Indonesia whom he had once guarded at a military camp. Hamza had been captured on suspicion of being a spy, but during the course of his imprisonment, Nguyen had unexpectedly grown close to him. Hamza was strange, Nguyen thought back then. Never angry despite the abuse, never screamed even when starved. Always smiling, even with death hovering near. What makes you so calm? Nguyen had asked one night, as they sat together by the guard post. Hamza smiled. Because I know this life is temporary. What is eternal is the life after death. I'm simply preparing provisions for that journey. Nguyen fell silent. What kind of provisions? Hamza looked up at the dark sky. The Shahada. The testimony that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. That was the first time Nguyen had heard the word Shahada. He didn't fully understand it, but the words carved themselves into his memory like etchings on stone. Now, in the middle of a jungle filled with death, blood, and rain, Nguyen felt something he couldn't explain. Not fear, but longing. He didn't know for what, or for whom. But his heart felt empty. As if a door was open, waiting to be entered. The sky grew darker. Rain fell harder. Footsteps approached. Could be enemies, could be friends. But to Nguyen, it no longer mattered. He knew his time was almost up. With the last of his strength, he looked up into the sky he could no longer see. His lips trembled. He tried to recall Hamza's words, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. He said it brokenly, in a language he had never fully learned. But he said it with a wide-open heart. His chest felt lighter. Tears, mingled with rain, rolled down his cheeks. Allah, if you can hear me, accept me, he whispered softly. And in that moment, amid rain, wet soil, and the scent of gunpowder, Nguyen Van Khai breathed his last. Peacefully. Months later, his body was discovered by a group of Cham Muslim villagers who lived near the forest. They saw him lying on his back, face turned toward the sky, his lips shaped as if smiling. In the pocket of his uniform was a torn piece of paper with handwriting, I don't know much, but I believe. La ilaha illallah. They bathed, shrouded, and buried him as a Muslim. His name was mentioned in their prayers, even though he came from a different people and a different faith. And in a land soaked with war, a man searching for the meaning of life finally found it in his final seconds, in the words of Shahada, the words of salvation. After the burial, the story of the young soldier who died with the words of the Shahada spread among the villagers. They no longer remembered Nguyen Van Khai as an enemy or a soldier, but as a soul who found peace amid the darkness of war. A few months later, a religious scholar from the village decided to visit the North Vietnamese military headquarters. He brought with him letters and some small notes left by Nguyen. There, the scholar recounted the story of Hamza, their friendship, and Nguyen's last words. Proof that a person's soul can change and seek truth until the very end.